Welcome to another episode of Lee Street Beat. I'm Sandra along with T the Man. And last time we saw you, we were talking about the bombs that were sent to a lot of the prominent Democrats. But soon after that, one of the worst things that we could ever possibly imagine happened. We had a mass killing in Pittsburg, Pennsylvania. There were 11 people killed at Temple. And since then, the country's just been spiraling. And needless to say, our commander-in-chief has not been comforting to us. They asked that the Trump administration not visit until they had buried the dead. T the Man, when you saw that request and you saw the response, what did you think, my brother?
I thought that Donald Trump wasn't going to honor their request because Donald Trump is about Donald Trump. So, you know, generally when they ask someone, says like, we want to bury our dead, we want to mourn, we need time to grieve. But, you know, this was all about him. He was going to make sure that he was going to get there and get the limelight because when those cameras were there, and he knew the camera was going to be there, he wanted to be focused on the cameras. The one thing that he did do, he waited till after that funeral that day before he decided to pop in. So I found it as a disingenuous and hollow sympathy that he portrayed. This man who killed him is one of his supporters. He was an errant sergeant supporter of Donald Trump. And he, you know, Donald Trump perpetuates these lies, and this man is not stable, and that's not any excuse, but he bought into it, and then this is what he does. He thinking that he's helping because this synagogue happened to have what was a Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society that helps other people. And so he decided that he was going to go in there and he was going to stop any kind of immigrant to come in. They can't discern between children and terrorists. They can't discern between MS-13 and a 14-year-old boy. I mean, it's just sickening the way they do things. And they try to justify, well, they were here illegal. It doesn't matter if they're here illegal or not. You have to treat them as a human being. You have to treat them as a respect. And then you killing 97-year-old people. You in there with your hunting rifle or AR-15 with his weapon.
Yeah, AR-15. Yeah, and 2 guns as well. He shot 3 police officers.
4 police officers.
Yeah, and Donald Trump's response is, well, you know, they should have had somebody at the door with a gun. Maybe that person would have got killed, but all of this mass killing wouldn't have happened. You know, I'm at loss for words when I think about the past presidents and how when we would have something that the country would mourn, that we would have comfort, you know, in the words of people like George Bush, people like Barack Obama, you know, people like George H. Bush. I mean, we don't have any words of sympathy here at all. I thought that he would heed the people's wishes because he has grandchildren that are Jewish. His daughter's converted. His son-in-law's converted. And I thought
he don't care about that, Sandra. He's a narcissist.
Jared would have cared.
He's a psychopathic narcissist. He doesn't care about his kids. But when it comes down between them and them kids, it's always about him. That's the only thing he's capable of is about him. He's not capable about having empathy or sympathy for anybody else. It's not in his DNA. And to say that he's a flawed human being is an understatement.
For sure. And not to, you know, go without saying that he invited Chuck Schumer to go. And I think first thing they didn't want to be tied to him, but certainly out of respect for the people that asked, you know, not to come so that they wouldn't have to take security away from the people who were having the funeral to give to, you know, the president coming. It was just, I couldn't believe that he just, despite what they requested, you know, that he went there. You know, it's just.
Look, Chuck Schumer and even Mitch McConnell knew enough not to come there.
Yeah.
You can get a Republican congressman to ride with them.
That's right.
You know, so, but who we bring along? Jarrett. With
his wife, too.
And his wife. And Steve Mushkin, is that his name? Mushkin, whatever his name is?
You done messed it up so bad I can't even say.
I don't know what his name is.
I think it's
You know,
munition or something. But
munition. Okay, you know, it might as well be Steve Mushkin. You know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, that's the only people, you know, he want to say that he's so concerned about Jews. The man said he's a nationalist. You know, the nationalists are lockstep and step with the Nazis. And the only reason why he's tolerating Ivanka and Jared is because they're family. But I guarantee you, if they were a distant cousin, they'd be gone.
Not to you know, underestimate the rhetoric about George Soros and all of the hate that's been stoked about Jewish people. You know, there was somebody on TV who said something to the effect of, you know, he doesn't feel like he's inciting any of these things going on. He said, but if you keep kicking a beehive, and then when folk get stung, you say you're not responsible. Yeah, he you know what? We know that Donald Trump didn't shoot these individuals, but it's all of the hateful rhetoric that has come out of his mouth and his administration. He's got his people, you know, really ginned up, and he's got them ginned up on a bunch of, you know, lies. And this is what happens. I don't even doubt that we'll be having a different discussion about another situation because of what he is doing now with calling himself campaigning, trying to keep the Senate, you know, in play for the Republicans.
Well, listen, I wish I could physically push a button and switch it, but we can't. So we have to go out and vote. They're going to lose the House. It looks like they're going to lose the House. I hope they lose the House. Yeah. I just hope that the Senate gets even tighter. Even if they don't win, just make it a lot tighter. You know, it's just sad. But the good thing is, one of the good things is, in your part of the country, Oprah's there campaigning for Stacey Abrams, which is
Black Girl Magic landed. You know what? Oprah really reminded us all about what we need to do and what we need to do as responsible citizens of the United States. And she reminded us that we needed to vote. She reminded us that there were a lot of people who have died that didn't have the right to vote. She spoke about that she's an independent and that we need to look at the issues. And as women, you know, who just, you know, 100 years ago, we weren't able to own land or anything like that, that we have to think for ourselves. You know, her speech was inspiring. She was in Marietta, Georgia, and then she went to Decatur. She knocked on doors. And unlike Donald Trump, when she came to stomp for Stacey Abrams, she spoke about Stacey Abrams. You know, the one thing about Donald Trump is he only makes these stomps. 95% of what he says is about himself. But you know what? She came on her own. She wasn't asked to come. And she spoke and told stories that really just touched the heart of anybody who listened to her. And people were lined up at 6 o'clock in the morning to see if they could, you know, listen to Oprah. And you know what? She did not let us down. She hopefully inspired young people by letting them know that there are a lot of people who didn't have the right to vote. And then when you go into that voting booth, you vote for those individuals who were disenfranchised and to get out and vote the issues. You know, she didn't talk about Donald Trump specifically. She didn't say Brian Kemp's name specifically, but she did speak about, you know, voter suppression and repression. And she really just drove the message home. And it wasn't about color. It was about the issues.
Well, I'm glad Oprah came there, you know, so I'm hoping that we can flip not only Georgia, but we can flip Florida with Andrew Gilliam. But, you know, I have to say, I do like Andrew when he talk about Ron DeSantis and Trump is—
a kick dog will yell.
You know,
you always quoting grandmama. When you quote grandmama, you know, you everybody love anything grandmama say. You know, he had me at grandma, you know.
Yeah, he said, what he said, something like the grandmother says, when you wrestle with a pig, you're both gonna get dirty, but the only difference is the pig likes it.
Okay, exactly. You know,
and the best one was, I hit dog will always holler.
Yeah, hit dog always holler. And I think what really went viral too is he said, well, I'm not saying that Ron DeSantis is a racist, but I'm saying that the racists say you're racist. And you know that you know, he brought the house down with that. And I think that unfortunately he could say that about a lot of these Republicans out here. If they are accepting money from these groups, if they are not denouncing them, if they are, you know, just not saying anything about having the support of white supremacists and all of these different groups, InfoWars and you know, meeting with these people and making speeches with them like Ron DeSantis is supposed to have, then you know what, you got to call them out. But you know, Andrew Gilliam's got a real plan for Florida. He wants to, you know, just change the landscape of everything. You know, the money that was offered, you know, for healthcare, he wants to accept that money. You know, he hasn't taken any money from any of these people that, you know, like the NRA and stuff like that. He speaks and talks like a person who they can't handle him. They, you know, and now the president wants to go after him, and he said, you know what, Donald Trump's a bully, and he does what all bullies do. They just, you know, talk stuff, and he's not backing down. He's unapologetic, and I think that that's what the Floridians love, and I know you like it too, T.
I do like it. I do like it. You know, I'm just going to say here in Illinois, we have a Republican governor, Bruce Rauner, and Bruce is, depending which poll you look at, he's either 15 points down or 23 points down. Bruce is done.
He's down.
He's a one and done Republican governor.
Stick a fork in.
And he's running against a true billionaire, J.B. Pritzker, who's part of the Hyatt hotel chain family. So okay. They, you know, that's a real billionaire with hotels like the Hiltons, you know. None of that fake hotel like Donald Trump got with Trump Tower and buying the names and throwing it up on there. So yeah, Andrew Gilliam, listen, he's all over Florida. He going places in Florida that, you know, I would say, Andrew, I don't know if you really should go there, but he's going there. He's taking that campaign there and he's picking up votes. So you know, listen, I hope he wins. And it would be nothing more fitting that he wins, Stacey wins, we take back the House, because Trump's gonna have a real problem. And one of the things is, if Trump loses in Florida or his candidate loses in Florida, I can guarantee you Andrew Gilliam is gonna look into the Trump properties.
Absolutely. I mean, they've already been cited for a whole bunch of stuff anyway, so absolutely.
Yeah, he's gonna look at them properties, you know. So Trump running down there, skating on taxes, you know, like you got a $100 million place and you only paying as if it's only $2 million, you know. So he's gonna look into that. They're gonna go through them, and then Trump knows, he feels that heat, he feels it. So he's doing all that he can to deflect it. He's bringing out all the stops. You know, he wants to strip citizenship from people, which he can't do.
He wants to take away the birthright of people, talking about we're the only country who does it. We're not the only country who does it. There's over 30 countries that do it. This was something that was put into place because when they were saying that the slaves were going to be Americans, they didn't want their children not to be Americans as well. And you got some more Republicans trying to jump on that bandwagon. You got Lindsey Graham trying to jump on the bandwagon. But what does your boy Kellyanne's husband say about it?
George Conway said that, you know, he basically said that he wrong is in the Constitution. You can't do it. I just don't know how Kellyanne and George is as a couple. I mean, well,
they got 2 kids. I don't know if they're gonna have 3.
They got 4. I think they got 4.
Oh, they got 4. I thought I saw 2.
3 girls and a son.
Oh, I didn't see the son. Okay, yeah, well, you know what? I don't think they'll be having another one.
No, I don't know. Listen, I think the biggest odds maker ought to put bets on how long they stay together. This is not like James Carville and Mary Matlin or whatever her name is. You know, this here is an all-out war. And then when you ask her, they saying that, if you ask her, they're saying she's being disrespectful. And then when she do answer, she's saying her husband is being disrespectful to her. Well, maybe she need to get away from the most disrespected man in America.
Exactly. You know, the truth is the light, and sometimes the truth hurts. And Kellyanne is going to be on the wrong side of history. And we will always applaud her husband because he's a learned lawyer and he tells the truth. He tells the truth about what's really going on. They are upset about people, you know, they call them anchor babies. This is a horrible, horrible way to describe these children. These are Americans. These are human beings. Donald Trump should be ashamed of himself. He should be ashamed of himself. He sickens me.
These so-called anchor babies. See, this whole thing is you know, is nefarious act. this is just one way. He says, well, you know what, they're anchor baby. If it applies to them, then it must apply for other people who parents who weren't here. And that's where they're going to go with this. They're not going to just stop at the ones just born.
Okay.
They're going to go back. They say, well, you know, Jose Torres, you know, his parents, the immigrant, they came over here illegal and had him. Well, he ain't a citizen. Let's strip him of his citizenship. Or
they don't want him to vote.
Somebody born here who might have came from Jamaica, stayed here, over to his father was here illegal, his mother was here illegal, and he been voting. But you know what? Because of this law, he's not supposed to be here because he's illegal. Strip him of his citizenship. So, you know, we got to stop this craziness right now.
Yeah, we do. I mean, the best way we can do it is definitely get out and vote. That's for sure. So they had a case where white police officers are facing federal charges of police brutality. They had two young Latino guys they stole a police cruiser. But, you know, upon stealing the cruiser, when they found the two young men, they told them, welcome to White Town. They beat them up. And so these officers are now being charged with federal charges. I mean, granted, they might have did something wrong, but even though people are
state charges and federal charges.
Okay.
You know, so
yeah.
I think one of the officers resigned. Listen, those are what you call dirty cops.
Absolutely.
You know, they want, you know, because this person was Hispanic, and so they felt they had the right to abuse them. And you don't have that right. You
don't.
You know, so regardless if they stayed in or not, once they became in custody and you handcuffed them, that's it. And also they even said they didn't meet them their Miranda rights. So those charges might even get tossed.
Okay, they might get the whole thing kicked out. But at the same time, then they'll turn around and sue their police officers for police brutality.
Well, you know what? Some of these small towns, you're going to have to sue the police officers. You need to break that town because they hire these people who they know, excuse me, who they know are psychologically unstable. Mm-hmm. Because they said, well, they're tough on crime. We don't need somebody tough on crime. We need somebody who adhere to law and apply it fairly. That's what we need. That's what their job is.
Exactly. You are to catch criminals and you are not to abuse them, period. And it doesn't matter the color of their skin or where they're from, you know, and to tell them, welcome to White Town. I mean, you already know. They're very discriminatory. I never want to go there.
Just another racist sin, that's all.
But you like to watch The Big Bang Theory.
I do like to watch The Big Bang Theory. And I'm going to tell you, at the end of last Tuesday's Big Bang Theory, they rolled the credits and they came out and they came hard eviscerating Donald Trump. I mean, I never heard of that before. You know?
Yeah. Desperate times call for desperate measures though, you know?
Yeah. And so they did it. I'm proud that they did it, you know, but anyway, the conservatives is all upset. And you probably haven't heard it in regular news because apparently on the conservative websites, teaparty.org, you know, they're having a tizzy about this. You know, how dare them? You know, they're liberals, they come there and they disparage this president, but it's all true. I don't know how they can be disparaged when it's all true. So yeah. I'm glad they did it. I hope more shows do it.
Everybody watch Big Bang Theory, and what's the show with the little boy? What's his name? What's that name of the
show? Young Sheldon.
And watch Young Sheldon too. Absolutely. Support him. You know, absolutely watch it. You know, I like when, you know, people have a platform and they take a stand for right. You know, it's real important that, you know, that somebody speaks out, because when people are silent, that's when horrible things happen. You know, that's when horrible things happen. We can't be silent. I wish that we could be silent on Lee Street Beat, but I can't be silent, T. I really can't. I mean, it hurts my heart every time we talk about coming on the show, but you know what? There are some things that are out there that we got to talk about, and we got to talk about and keep it real for them, you know? We the voice.
Yeah, you know, they had a lot of real harsh words to say about them. They just said that, you know, remind those who collaborate with darkness, thou art the light, and the light is not above whipping out a little Old Testament wrath. So anyway, they went in on them.
It's like kind of like a little manifesto they put up there.
Oh yeah, they put up a manifesto up there. all in the credits.
Oh yeah, you go out there and find and read it. It's a lot. It's a lot to read, but it's all true. And you know what? I'm sure that just like anybody else, they hated to write it, but you know what? It's true. It's sad, but it's true.
And they're not the only celebrities coming out. Shelley Schellenberger, the cat, for the Hudson River, landed that plane on the Hudson.
The plane,
by Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming out, and what he's saying, vote Democratic. I mean, he's been a lifelong Republican, and he's throwing shade. I mean, hard shade. Yeah. I mean, this, I don't even want to call him, this Mr. Trump. That's what I'm going to call him.
45.
He doesn't, 45. He doesn't deserve the term president because he doesn't act presidential. A lot of millions of people feel that he's the illegitimate president. He's like an illegitimate king or prince that stole the crown. He cheated. He cheated because that's his DNA. Lie, cheat, steal. So he just can't help it. But anyway, Shelley Schellenberger came out and talked about vote Democratic. We gotta stop this. We gotta eradicate this and get these and get the nation back into a more civil time and era where we respected one another, where we try to help our fellow man, and it's not everything is about greed.
Yeah. Stop stoking fear, stop stoking hatred, and just stop telling lies. Because the Republicans are all now really kind of doing what Donald Trump is doing, just lying about healthcare, that they'll protect healthcare. They just all just joining in on the lie. And you know what? We can't rely on Congress to keep Donald Trump in check because they're complicit. And I don't think that any of our forefathers ever thought that it would be like that.
Here's the new lie by the Republicans. They say they're for healthcare. They want to keep Obamacare. And if you got a precondition, they're all for it. But see, here's the nuances. They're all for precondition as long as if you got a, catastrophic illness and you can pay $10,000 a month, then yeah, you should have health care. But most people who have that kind of illness can't do it. They don't want affordable health care. They're just saying that health care is out there, but if you can't afford it, oh well, it's on you. So, they're disingenuous when they're saying they're for Obamacare, because they're not. They're doing right now, they got stuff in the courts. They're trying to dismantle it. So, exactly. But healthcare is a big issue. It's a losing issue for them. So they want to say, yeah, we're for healthcare. We're for healthcare. But you know what? They're liars. They're outliers, and they're liars. So you can vote for a Republican now, and you know what? And this whole thing about the economy is doing well, is doing this. Hey, the economy may be doing well, but the people making money are hedge fund managers. The people at the top is making money. I'm telling you, if you're making $10 an hour and the cost of living has went up, and your boss give you a raise to 10, and he's gonna say wages went up. Technically, that's right. But in reality, you ain't made no damn more.
That's right. That's right. And that ain't the only thing going up. The reason why people are so up in arms about healthcare is that healthcare has gone up. And so I was listening to today a story about some lady who's been going months without her medicine for diabetes. My dad suffered from diabetes, and I can't imagine not being able to have your insulin available to you. I mean, that is your life. That is your life. So it's really sad.
Well, not only that, these pharmaceuticals, they feel that greed is good. Well, whatever the insulin was selling for, well, now we can jack it up 800%.
Yeah, big pharma.
Because our profit margin will be better, and because there's no repercussions to it. Now, you know what? I mean, Trump can order the FDA and say, hey, you know what? We're going to put price caps on this. Or we're going to let someone in from another country go do the same thing. Bring in more competition. Maybe that's what they need. I don't know.
That's what we campaigned on, but I haven't seen any of that. No more than I think that we're going to see a tax cut for the middle class. All these things that he's been throwing out because of, us having these elections. All of it's just lies. And he's going to send, I think, like 15,000 troops to the border. They can't even use their guns against this so-called caravan that's coming. He's just been stoking hate and fear and getting his base riled.
Well, here's the whole thing about the caravan. You got a caravan of young mothers and little kids.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Oh, there's big, strong men coming. Some of these.
No big strong men. And then you listen, they got like 5 different routes that they can take. At the shortest time, it'll take from 15 to 30 days to reach the border.
I don't think they'll be here before Thanksgiving.
You listen, I'm not worried about a caravan of mothers and little kids. And yeah, there may be some gang members mixed in there, but you know what? When they go through the immigration process, but he don't told the judges because he got rid of all the other judges and then he put his own judges in and he told them, I don't want nobody coming through. So if you got, and when you think about the odds of the people asking for asylum and that mass group of people, and you got, say, 5,500 people coming, and you talking about you only going to give asylum to 15 folks?
It's horrible. I mean, you know, instead of him getting more judges to try to, you know, get these people through the system and help them.
No, he's gotten more judges, but he's gotten judges, you know, like Brett Kavanaugh, judges that don't like immigrants.
Yeah, but he doesn't have enough judges either. Some of these people, I read an article that there's some people waiting 100 days for asylum hearing that never came. 100 days? Are you kidding me? You know, which only got 3 judges there?
It's a backup. It's a backup. It's a slow process and it's a backup.
Yeah, they slow walking every darn thing. Well, I tell you something, out of all of the stuff that's been going on, there's a small bright light in the sense that Kanye West has decided that he is no longer in politics.
Well, you know what? That's the best thing Kanye could have did. I guess Kim is shutting off that Kardashian money. You know, listen, I don't know what to say about Kanye other than he's some kind of fool. He should never venture in politics, talk about things that he know. I mean, I understand him as an American. He want to, you know, involve himself in the American political system. But Kanye, you know, you need to be on the right side of history. And you running up there embracing Donald Trump, talking about I love Hillary Clinton, and then
off your meds,
all the crazy stuff, you know, and then profess that, you know, I'm bipolar and off my meds.
Yeah, but I don't believe I'm bipolar. I need you to know that your doctor diagnosed you. You can't diagnose yourself. T-Man, this time next week, hopefully we have some results.
Listen, we need some good news. We need some good news. We need some results of Democratic wins. If the Republicans keep the House, it's going to be even more. It's just going to be worse. It'll be a nightmare scenario.
Yeah. So hopefully next week we have some better news.
Better news. I mean, it looks like they will. But, you know, I'm just telling Nancy Pelosi, don't get too excited. You got to win. You got to win the game first before you celebrate. Right. And don't take nothing for granted. And
everybody vote. Everybody vote.
Right. And Beto O'Rourke, I can't understand Texas. He got money. He got this big following. But
the Latinos are coming out voting. And the older Latinos that are voting for Ted Cruz. So it's just.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know. But you know what? There's a lot more younger ones than there's older ones. So he need to get them to come out and vote. I don't care.
We'll go to Texas.
You know, I don't know. Who does he need to get out there and vote? If he needs to get a celebrity to get out there with them, then he needs to find them. I don't care if it's Willie Nelson or Taylor Swift. He needs to get them out there and do it. So, you know, yeah, you got to get out there. You got to vote. You can't take nothing for granted. Your vote does count.
It does.
And the thing about it is, for us who do participate and who do vote, we've done all that we can right now.
That's right.
You know, we done our share. We've done all we can, because if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. And they already said, hey, you missed 2 voting cycles, we're gonna rock you off the rolls. And it's not like an easy process. He says, well, you off me off rolls, I'm gonna come back and re-register. No, honey, that ain't gonna work that way, not in the future. You off the rolls, they make you start all over again and say, hey, bring me your birth certificate, make sure you're American citizen. Oh, by the way, make sure your parents weren't no immigrants, because if they was illegal, that make you illegal, and you not no citizen. So I don't know, maybe, you know, I know Trump is stroking up fear, but maybe Democrats need to put some fear of reality, what can happen.
That's right. All right, man. It hasn't been as good as we'd like it to be, but next week we hope it'll be better, and maybe we can get S. Hacker with us.
Yeah, she said she has some kind of issue, so who knows? But
all right, I'll see you next week, man.
All right, this is T the Man from Lee Street Beat. We wishing everybody to go out and vote. So until next week, this is Lee Street Beat. Stay safe, help one another.